I'm Kerry.
I'm Max, and this is Provider Farm.
Provider Farm is found in Salem, Connecticut. We have about 14 acres in vegetables, primarily for CSA. We also do farmers market, winter market, and some wholesale accounts to local co-ops. And then we have about 20 acres of pasture for our grass-fed beef head, which we have 15 head right now. Prior to coming to our farm, we were managing for other people up in western Massachusetts.
We really loved the Pioneer Valley where we were farming before, but there are just so many CSAs there, we felt like we really had to leave. And so we did. We spent like a solid year just driving all over New England with like the half a day off a week that we both had, looking at everything from like gravel pits to wetlands. And we had almost given up for the year, and we're just going to get jobs again on farms when we found the listing for this. But leasing has been a really great way for us to start. I'm really happy with how that's gone on. And the last thing that we wanted to do was come down here and start this farm and just totally go under, take all this money that we had saved up and basically just lose it. So we were really committed to buying steel with our money rather than sort of spending it on a down payment. And then we were able to, since we're a CSA and we had the share payments coming in, we were able to take the share payments and buy fertilizer, compost, seeds and all that. Because I think a pitfall that a lot of people make is they'll save up this money and then they use it to live off of, and then you have nothing to show for it. Whereas even after our first year, if we were to go belly up, you know, tractors don't really depreciate. They kind of, at the least, hold their value. There's really no incentive for us to build buildings and infrastructure since we don't own anything. We can't take that with us. So we just, you know, when we take any extra money that we have and we just put it back into the business through equipment, through tractors.
And it was not necessarily our ideal farm. There are some great things about it and some challenges about it.
You know, everyone has this sort of real fantasy of, you know, you buy like 40 acres with a beautiful house and beautiful barns and it's all continuous and you have enough land to grow your vegetables and put some cows out in the back, you know, and you never have to go on the road and all that. And I don't know if it's really going to be reality for everyone going forward. You know, I think that being able to be creative and, you know, make situations work that other people are going to pass up is really going to be important. We have stones and rocks and boulders, and it's not prime vegetable land by any regard. So we really, you know, have to be responsible stewards with the land. We really try to integrate a lot of dynamic cover cropping into our systems. If we leave even a small amount of ground bare for the winter, you'll see erosion. And we really, you know, view it as it's a tremendous opportunity that our landlords offer us by letting us lease their land. So we really try to take, you know, the best care of it possible to get cover crops in early, to get them in often. You know, we do have the cattle and we make compost because I think you just have to add that organic matter back to the soil. But the benefit is that there aren't a lot of other vegetable farms in this area. So we kind of felt like we would take that trade-off, you know, and learn how to deal with the rocks. You know, the first thing that we really felt like we needed to do was kind of convince the world that we existed, especially starting a new farm. And we found that a really effective way to market ourselves and interact with the public actually is through, you know, things like social media. We use Facebook primarily. And I don't think I ever thought that it was going to actually sell us CSA shares. And then it started to. You know, people would tell us that they had seen a picture of ours that one of their friends had liked or shared, and that they just started looking at the farm and got really interested into it and decided to buy a share from us. And it might sound kind of silly to people or kind of a waste of time, but I think it's really, you know, it's just been nothing but a net benefit for us. Our demographic loves Facebook right now. You hear people talking about how like the teens these days are getting off Facebook and it like spells the end for the website, which is fine because we're not trying to sell CSA shares to 13-year-olds. We're trying to sell CSA shares to, you know, people with young families, and people with young families love Facebook. They're on it all the time. And it's a great way to reach them. It's a great way to stay involved with the people that we do reach. It's a great way to make connections with, you know, people that we've never met before. But what works really well is you want people to turn real life interaction into positive social media traffic. So you have somebody comes and picks their share up, and then they take it home and they're really excited about it, and they take a picture of it and they put it on their Facebook page. And you want to promote that, and you want your Facebook page to not just your stuff, you just want it to be a positive place. And you know, as much as we really strive to be financially viable, sometimes there are benefits that you don't see on the bottom line. I think the cows are a great example of that.
People really love to see animals when they come to the farm. Every day you see people slowing down and watching the cows. Bus drivers will stop their school buses so the kids can take a look at what's going on with the cows that day.
Yeah, I think the cows also kind of humble you in a really important way. You know, the vegetable farming can get really kind of crazy and hectic, and you know, you really want to do things on your schedule and you really want to push everything. And the cows, you know, they have their own ideas about things sometimes, so you really need to, you know, you need to work with them. You can't just impose your will upon them, you know, like they're going to calve when they're going to calve, and you just have to deal with it, you know, and work around it. And I think it's really sort of good for our emotional well-being to work with the cows. I think that I find that it's usually the most enjoyable part of my day, unless they get out, and then it's probably the worst part of my day.
And it's an added service we can offer to our CSA shareholders. There is not a lot of grass-fed beef available in this area, 100% grass-fed. A lot of people still grain finish, but we do offer on a 100% grass-fed product.
I mean, it's an absolute food desert, you know, like the closest grocery store is like 20 minutes away, half an hour away.
People are hungry for it down here.
So, you know, it's the same clientele in the CSA that you have everywhere. You know, it's, you know, a lot of young families with young kids that are concerned about, you know, the direction that the food system is going. As we kind of move forward, you know, there's going to be less and less and less prime agricultural land that's available, especially prime agricultural land that's available in proximity to, you know, to populations that are going to want to buy your products. And I think, you know, being able to work with things and being able to be sort of dynamic and a problem solver is really, you know, going to be important sort of for, you know, not young farmers, new farmers going forward.